We can literally just record. I knew the audio would work because I already tested it.
That's good.
There we are. So look, this is the first time we've been in person, and
well, you've had COVID. I've had COVID.
I've had COVID twice.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm double antibodied, and I've been vaccinated by both Moderna and Johnson & Johnson, and I've had a booster of each.
Yeah.
So,
and I haven't had anything but COVID.
And I bet I get COVID for a third time.
Yeah, I bet you do too.
I bet that's a reasonable thing to suggest.
I bet
given
you get it.
My track record has not been preferable. But yeah, it's been about has it been a year and a half? When did we last record in person? No, maybe it's been like a year and a couple months. It's been a while.
It was before,
as Aaron Lewis would say.
It was before I moved.
Yeah. Well, it was before I moved.
Yeah.
Because I moved into this house. So it's been at least a year.
Yeah. So
I'll pour you some bourbon. So
I think cheers. I came over to record. Yeah. Your house was the last time. So it was when you moved.
I think it was when I moved. Yeah,
when I moved.
And then I think we just decided because you were in Kentucky and the whole thing, it was just like, this isn't.
That was
going to work the way that we want.
Oh my God, those were such dark times for me. I hate recalling them. But
yeah,
you know, everything's good.
Yeah.
My muscular atrophy is coming.
You look like an astronaut that's been on a satellite for fucking 6 months.
What happened to Chris? I've been seeing him just head up, but like he's lost so much weight, and this is a wheelchair.
Yeah, I feel like I'm thicker than a Snickers now. Well, not really. It's weird. I don't know. I haven't gained any weight. I didn't gain any weight during like the first part of the pandemic, like at all. I actually lost weight because I spent more time working out because I had nothing else to do. Remember I used to walk Caden all the time?
Yeah.
The Corso that we adopted or fostered. We walked him all the fucking time because there's nothing else to do. So like all these other people were getting fat as fuck, and I lost a bunch of weight just walking all the time.
Yeah.
Which is weird. I actually had something to mention specifically about COVID. I can't remember what it was. I will say this before we get into anything super meaningful. One, cheers to being back.
Cheers.
In studio, which is great. But I forgot to say this last week because we were talking about the F1 stuff in your stories.
Mm-hmm.
And I told you the story of the guy that I walked by that was like, hey, man, love the podcast, as I'm going through a group of a ton of people.
Yeah.
And I never mentioned it because here's the thing. I told you that the way I responded felt really stupid.
Mm.
And I was like, because it kind of just, it caught me off guard. So I didn't know what to say. And you're like walking through a bunch of people. This is all I know. I know the gentleman was dressed pretty much in all green. And
are we confronting him now?
Yes.
Okay.
So gentleman in all the green, my reaction was weird. I recognized that. I didn't know how to respond. I didn't know what to say because I was walking through and it just kind of, not that it was a weird moment. It was just one that I didn't think would happen at a fucking racetrack. So in appreciation for the guy in green, thank you so much for saying you love the podcast. It was really cool of you. Even my wife's like, what did he just say? It was like, I think he just said he loved the podcast. And I was like, at first I'm like, I don't know if he was talking to me or someone else, that may have had a podcast that was also walking by us at the same time. But gentleman dressed in green, if you're listening, sincere appreciation. That was really cool. Thank you.
Could you imagine if he just like stood up and goes, great podcast, and 10 people stand up and going, thank you.
Dude, I feel like everybody has a podcast these
Everyone
days anyway.
Has a
so
fucking podcast.
It wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility for a person to be like, hey, I love your podcast, and at least a couple people respond.
Yeah.
God, you listen to my podcast? I only thought we had 13 listeners.
Or
hard to believe he's one of them.
We're still in those weird times too where public etiquette is still a little bit challenged by those that are phobic of receiving such a deadly, stirring virus that seems to continue to mutate itself, kind of like those mutations out of like a horror movie. But like you don't even know if you should shake their hands. You don't even know if clearly hugging is out the window.
Yeah.
But I just imagine like, it's like, hey man, great podcast. You go to shake his hands, like, don't touch me.
Really appreciate the kind gesture. He goes, ah! Yeah, that'd be strange. No, I mean, weirdly enough, anybody who was at the race, you know this because you were there. if you were there, you're bumping shoulders with everybody.
Yeah,
no one gave a shit about. I saw like 3 people wearing their masks. And I was like, first of all, you're in a group of literally hundreds of thousands of people. That mask ain't gonna do shit. That cloth mask will do absolutely nothing to protect you. And 2, it's 90 degrees outside. You're going to literally give yourself a stroke.
Yeah, and not to
Why
mention,
would you do that?
I was in the beer garden the whole time, and there was a moment where on Saturday it was so congested. People were coming up from qualifying or before qualifying and coming up to the beer garden. Shout out to Midnight Lover Bar.
I don't think it was called Midnight Lover.
Something like that.
It was called like Moonlight something.
Something like that.
It was definitely not Midnight. No one named a fucking bar to raise Midnight Lover. That's
like
a
that.
strip club.
But literally, we were so close in proximity to each other, almost like those, like those subway trains in Japan or like China, where everybody's like just
crammed
shoved
together
into like a fucking cat.
Do you ever see the people who get trapped trying to get in and they're like running with the train and it's taking off and it's like someone either pulls you in or they push you out?
It was like that. And it was so bad. Like I hoovered a woman's hair into my mouth. Like we were so close together, and me just breathing sucked in her hair into my mouth,
like attached to her head.
Yeah, yeah.
I've done that with my own hair, so I can only imagine how putrid that is to do it to somebody else's, especially in like a sweaty 90-degree weather.
But we didn't give a fuck because we were also smoking cigars in that congested amount of people.
Which I think is interesting because I never actually smoked at the track. I brought cigars with me, but I never smoked while I was there. There was plenty of opportunity, and I felt like if you were outside the grandstands, anything was a go. I could have smoked walking because I saw other people smoke cigars. But you know why I didn't? Is because I was really never under the protection of shade. I don't want to smoke a cigar in the 90-degree sun. If I can't be somewhat cool and comfortable, the idea of smoking a cigar like while sweating my tits off, it's not appealing to me. So I just never smoked while I was there, but I of course smoked when nighttime came. But
yeah, I just hoovered your bourbon too.
Oh, this bourbon's pungent, by the way.
It's a little pungent.
Yeah, this bourbon has some it's got some balls on it. And you know what? It's actually pretty low proof, but it's a weeded bourbon from Colorado, so it's
like, have you ever
got a little bit more like of a
like you've ever given head
flame to it,
and they shoot in the back of your throat and you're not ready for it? Like you're just waiting for the drop on your tongue, but you get shot in the back of the throat and start choking.
Yep,
that's what this did to me.
All the time happens to me, consistently, more often than I care to admit. Hey, guess what? We have cigar news today. We don't have the thing to go. So I'm gonna do it myself. But we do have some cigar news. We're gonna rifle through this real quick because this is what we're doing on this episode is something kind of new. I don't want to say kind of new. It is new. Chris and I have been discussing this actually for probably a couple weeks now, maybe even a little longer. Like, wouldn't it be funny if we did this? And I figured our first episode back in person would represent a good time to do what we had talked about doing. But before we get into it, let's get into some cigar news. I really like this. Half Wheel released a report today as premium cigar imports remaining strong in July of 2021. Now, the disparity between the numbers of cigars imported in the United States versus last year, obviously, we could already probably understand that there's quite a disparity, meaning that in 2022, as we're rolling through the year so far, is it 2022? No, 2021. As we're rolling through this year so far, the increase in cigars in the United States is exponentially more than it was this time last year. Obviously, impacts of COVID are number one. 2 things are getting back to normal, so production is back to where it needs to be. And I think there's a lot of people who are genuinely interested in growing the cigar industry as a whole or being part of it. So I think all those things kind of interlaced together have caused like a huge boom in the number of cigars consumed or at least sold in the United States, 25.5% imported in July of 2020, which is significant. The data that I think is most striking is what's represented at the bottom. You look, estimates around 254 million premium cigars imported during the first 7 months of this year versus 163 million of last year. That is a massive increase. Massive. And did you feel at all like there was a shortage of cigars last year?
I felt like there was a shortage.
I felt like the cigars that you really wanted to get your hands on were the ones that weren't available, and all the dregs were kind of left on the shelves.
Like you were rationing shit. Like it's survival.
Yeah, because it's kind of like the toilet paper scenario a little bit. That's how I felt with cigar. I actually I really kind of held on to a lot of my cigars last year that I had. Someone actually commented today that my they saw a video of my all the cigars I have, and it's like you're something along the lines of my stash looking a bit anemic.
Yeah.
And that's because think about how much I've given away in the past.
You're very generous.
Just in a few months, I've given a ton of cigars away.
Yeah.
A ton.
Very generous.
I just can't smoke as much as I have, and I don't really want to collect. I'm really in this mindset now where I'm like, I don't want to collect cigars anymore. I want to smoke them. I want to enjoy what I enjoy. And if there's things in here I don't enjoy that I know someone else may enjoy,
Yeah.
I just want to give them to them. Like, allow some other people to try some stuff. And actually, I mean, you're right. Being generous, right? Being generous with the stuff that we get a chance to smoke and get that maybe other people don't. I think that's a good thing. I think there's some good karma to be derived from that.
Yeah.
So I'm good with it. But anyway, cool to see the numbers increasing. I'm curious to see now that we're in a bit more of a steady year than we were last year because of the pandemic, what 2022 is going to look like. Are we going to see, do we see a spike because we see that wave of production hit because it had been stifled for so long, and then we're going to see that kind of taper off in 2022? Or are we going to see the similar trajectory of cigars in 2022? I do feel like there's more brands starting to come out. Like, more people are like, oh, well, if all these other people doing it, I can do it. And I think that's not a good tactic. So I think you're probably going to see attrition of some smaller brands. I think you're going to see some bigger brands fail in things that they're actually producing and putting out. But I am curious to see how explosive it could potentially be in 2022 in comparison to now.
I want to see what 2019 looks like. Because could 2020 just been a production issue because of
like
shutdowns?
An anomaly? Yeah. So the comparison between 2019 and 2021, I'm sure someone can make that.
Yeah.
I would like to see it too. I still think 2021, I don't know, man. 2019 was a big year for cigars.
I don't think they want to show 2019.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I mean, I think in conclusion to this, everybody already kind of recognized that this year was going to be better than last.
Yeah, for sure.
But you're right. I think a more fair comparison to make would be 2019.
Plus, I want to point out the fact that if everyone just dropped the bullshit about cigars being unhealthy for you because it may fuck up my immune system due to COVID, do you realize that 253 million cigars were produced and released in the market? That's almost one cigar a person in the United States. Now for 15, 20% of you, you're shit out of luck. But that's almost a cigar a person. Imagine how much the bigger...
I mean, for adults, that's actually very accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, dude, could have been a great chance to just like say, fuck life.
I actually do
Grab
think
a
some
cigar.
people. I think some people did.
I think so too.
Because I think last year represented, and even going into this year, like a time of like
Fuck
leisure and relaxation, like holding on to things that make you feel comfortable and relaxed. And cigars certainly do that. I think I've smoked more between this time last year and this year than I ever have.
Yeah.
But that also may be part of this really sick addiction. This one. So I want to ask you this question. So Asylum ships massive 9x90 April Fool's cigar, a 9x90. So the only other cigars that El Artista cigar that I currently have in the humidor, I should have pulled that out just for comparison's sake so people could see how big it is. This is a 9x90. It is called April Fool's. So I'm trying to figure out, is this intentionally a gimmick, or do they look at this as a cigar that is like, are you having fun, or is this something you really want people to attach to? I don't really know, because the Asylum brands all headed up like Christian Aurora. I actually really like their cigars a lot. They utilize Honduran tobacco like nobody else. But it's like, is there room in the market for this? Like, what does this even fucking make sense?
I know a lot of ladies that would prefer that.
And a really dark Maduro 9x90.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Stiff shaft on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need both hands to smoke that thing.
I don't know. I'm just like, who smokes these fucking things?
I'd milk that one.
Like, why do you buy them, though?
I don't know. Maybe you share it with someone.
Is it like the Drew Estate egg where it says you buy it because it's funny?
Yeah.
Or do you actually, is there like a big time Tommy out there who just wants to smoke the biggest cigar? Big time Tommy, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. But I just imagine there's a lot of ailments and problems that may be associated with smoking such a large donger. Lockjaw. Dislocated jaw.
Sure. For sure.
Um,
How about just the slobber produced as a result of having that thing in your mouth?
yeah, you could probably gag on it.
You probably get
accidentally.
dehydrated, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's good for you. Also, who smokes the whole thing? Like, who could actually smoke a 9x90?
Nah, you don't want to be sucking on
And,
that.
and if you could smoke a 9x90, do you actually enjoy it? So I look at it and say, I'm saying because the associated name being an April Fool's cigar, I'm going to go with it's obviously just a gimmicky thing that they're coming out with just to maybe stir some things in the marketplace. It's kind of funny, whatever. It does come in a coffin case, of course. It's massive, big giant wood case, and it's $40 per cigar. I'm wondering how many of these are going to sold. It doesn't say how many they produce. I am curious about that as well.
A 4-hour suck job does not sound fun.
No, that'll surely fuck your mouth up. All right, moving on. We just talked about Villiger last week. They were on our overrated, underrated, and I thought it was funny because I think I suggested like how much do they actually intentionally put into their U.S. focus? And here we go. Villiger announces opening of new Nicaraguan factory, one of which they're sharing with Joya de Nicaragua. So they'll be taking all their production of most of the cigars that you know from Villiger will be migrating to this factory in Nicaragua. It's ironic that came out right after I was like, I don't really know that they care about this too much. And it's like, bitch, we're building a whole fucking factory. I'm like, God damn it. So it's kind of cool. I think it's a good idea from a production perspective. And it really does kind of show you, okay, they actually are doing some things. They're making a serious investment in here and a good partner in Joya de Nicaragua, which has a very solid name in the industry.
Scroll down to the bottom there. I want to quote something. Yeah, there we go. From raw tobacco purchasing to shipping, Villiger now has quality control completing in one hand. With the new Villiger de Nicaragua, we'll be able to strengthen and expand our market position in all markets in the future, especially in the largest sales market for handmade cigars, the United States of America.
Boy, did I have it wrong. I feel like an idiot. Still overrated. And moving on, this one I find to be funny. Oh, God, I hope this dude doesn't get mad at me because I'm going to kind of make fun of him for a second. You know that cigar prop guy on Instagram? His name's Kevin. He does he's got like a YouTube following, does stuff on Instagram, like big into TikTok, but he's far too old to be on TikTok, but he's on there anyway. He launches a cigar called Back in Black, which is made at the Espinosa factory. So he's got his own cigar out now. And it's funny because like every time he starts a video, which everybody knows how he does it, he always goes, "Hi, Kevin from Cigar Prop." And it literally makes me want to punch someone in the face every time I hear it. And then there's always videos of him eating like eggs and sausage and like eating toast. And the one pet peeve that I have when you're talking to a microphone or a camera is like, don't be eating things because the noise drives me nuts.
Sure.
You've done it before, and I wanted to punch you in the fucking mouth.
But not on this show, but definitely before.
Yeah, and I did just like hurts my ears. And so when I hear him go, "Hi, Kevin with Cigar Prop," and then I see him eating eggs, toast, and sausage, and then like drinking a Monster Energy drink all at the same time, and you can hear it all swirling in his mouth, I just go, well, I'm going to fucking throw a stick of dynamite at your house because it's driving me nuts. I actually like him. He's pretty funny. He's got this big, giant, fucking crazy beard. Anyway, so he's got the Cigar Prop Back in Black cigar coming out, again, produced by Espinosa Cigar. It comes in a 6x52. It's only sold, so it's only going to be sold online. I think it started selling last night or it's selling tonight at Smokes In, their website. Apparently, and I listened to his video earlier, watched his video, the record in selling out, he's got 200 boxes, technically 198, obviously kept 2 for himself. That can be sold on the website for like $95, boxes of 10, right? So the record, I think, on their website in terms of like limited production stuff that sells out is like 29 minutes. So he's trying to sell 198 boxes in 29 minutes. I personally don't think he's going to get there. Maybe he will, maybe he won't. I don't know. I just feel like I'm not saying that it's not a good product. I don't say he doesn't have the following to support it. It just seems like a lot in 29 minutes. Like, what if you have a credit card issue at that time? Then what do you do?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, what if the website shuts down? What do you do at that point? How do you time it? Who knows, right? So we'll see what happens. What I really wanted to focus on here is that, okay, so Kevin from Cigar Prop is a guy who makes like cigar prop accessories. That's the name. Makes like some different metal accessories, whatever. And it's actually really nice stuff. But it is an example of where you have someone who we can label essentially an influencer. coming out with their own cigar brand. And more, you're starting to see folks in the industry that have these followings kind of get into the cigar making process a little bit more, focusing intentionally on, okay, I want to come out with my own brand. And of course, when there's a following and you can sell them, cigar manufacturers are happy to oblige. It does nothing but favors for them. So I'm wondering if you're going to start seeing this more and more. Like we did the Donga release, which is very different from this, which is a box release. And of course, this is only on one website that you can buy it from. It's not going to be in stores. It's not going to be on shelves. So who knows if it'll be something that'll be like a long-term production or if it's just limited to this. And it's like, hey, we want to do something kind of cool and creative one time. I don't know, but it kind of begs the question. It's like, are we going to see this more often? Are you going to see people who have these big followings start to work with manufacturers more to come out with limited production stuff?
Possibly. But it's like no better than like a YouTube thing. Feels like this or even TikTok. Just I don't know. There's a certain amount of gimmick, like this whole fucking donger thing. I don't know who came up with that idea.
Yeah.
But
fucking idiots.
You know, like cartoon phallic creature.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, for sure.
What are they thinking?
Stupid dong right now.
What are they thinking?
So dumb. Yeah, I'd be interesting to see if he actually sells these out. I would be interested in I actually like the box. I'd be interested in smoking this cigar. Honestly, this is gonna sound bad. If it wasn't an Espinosa cigar, I'm just kind of burnt out on Espinosa, to be honest with you. I'm done with them for a little bit. I didn't like the new Laranja at all. There's a few key cigars that I like, staple cigars in the Espinosa lineup. And even stuff that they make for other people that I'm like, I can get behind kind of. Mm-hmm. But a lot of it just seems to be, I don't know, it's just not my style. I don't know, but I'm just like, I don't want to smoke anything from Espinosa for a while. I'm taking a fucking time out. I'm taking a breather. So that's all I'm going to say. All right. You want to get into like the crux of the show?
Sure.
You want to get into the juicy stuff?
Sure.
All right. So Chris and I decided, we talked about this a couple weeks ago. I think I don't even know if we were spitballing ideas or the idea just came up because we were discussing something. But it was like, we both were like, how funny would it be to do an episode specifically around the cigars that we actually hate to love?
Like we're ashamed to admit it.
We're ashamed to admit that these are cigars that we actually dig. And I want to do the inverse of this too, because I want to talk about cigars we love to hate, which is a way bigger episode. I found it somewhat difficult to find cigars that I knew had negative association in the marketplace that I could actually say definitively that I really like this cigar and I want no one else to know about it. Yeah. But I did find some. I kind of went back and started thinking about it more and more just intentionally. So, Chris, I want to do 2 with you and then I want to do 2 for me. And then we're going to go into some of what the audience said and discuss those a little bit more. There's a lot of content here. So I'll save some of this for next time. We'll probably do a part 2 of this. So we'll go from there. So do you want to start or do you want me to start?
I'll start.
Okay.
My first one. Well, it's hard to admit. I feel like I'm in like one of those like support groups where you're like admitting your flaws.
Yeah.
Like, hey.
Hi, I'm Chris, and I'm addicted to sex.
Yeah, I'm addicted to sex. I snort Smarties, stupid shit. But now that we're here, hi, I'm Chris. I sometimes will smoke Drew Estate. Give me a minute. Sometimes I will smoke a Drew Estate acid.
Oh no.
Cuba.
And you like
Candela.
It. Oh no!
For $12. For $12.
The fucking Candela? Is that a Cuba or is that like a different?
You can get it in the
Is it a Cuba? Are you sure?
Yeah.
The Candela Cuba.
There's a Candela Cuba.
Ew.
For $12.
Ew. I thought you started with Drew Estate and I was like -1. And then you said acid. I'm like, -2. No way you were going to get, or you said acid -2. Then you said Cuba Cuba. I'm like, fuck, -3. Then you went as far as to say Candela. Dude, I thought you could only get 3 strikes. That's 4 strikes.
You know what I think it is? It reminds me of grandma.
Dude, it smells like grandma. It smells like old grandma perfume.
It does.
It smells like the inside of a coffin.
And just as sweet.
Ugh.
And just as sweet.
Dude, those are terrible. Remember that one time you were smoking and I tried it and almost threw up? And then I remember going back to the front of the humidor and the one guy's like, your brother just keeps buying acids, right? And I was like, God damn it. Oh, that's a shameful admission for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, God, dude, that's putrid.
Yeah.
I could almost give you a little bit of a break if you were to stop at Cuba Cuba because they are wildly popular cigars because they aren't necessarily 100% premium tobacco and people kind of love that sweet flavor. I get it. There's an attachment to it. I understand it. But then you said Candela.
Yeah.
And that's where I got to draw the line.
I literally hit on every. I might as well have leprosy. Like, no one else is going to be around it. No one's going to do that.
Oh, that's just disgusting. I can't get behind that one. I'm sorry. I'm usually a pretty inclusive person, but I think I'm drawing the line at that one.
Yeah.
All right. Let me give you one. I got 6 on here. So what should I go with? Let's go with the top one. Let's go with the CAO Osa.
Oh my God.
I used to smoke the living shit out of these. They finally discontinued, but you can still find them.
Green label, right?
Yeah, it's got like a bright green label on it. I don't know why I like this cigar so much. I think it's because it kind of had a funky smell to it and a little bit of funky taste, which I don't know is a good or a bad thing. But there was a subtle difference in the cigar that I really enjoyed. So it's like every time I smoked it, and I would just kind of pick them up from time to time, and it was really kind of my for me, it was my secret thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was like this thing where it was like, I'm going to smoke this. No one else is going to see me smoke it. I'm only going to do it when I'm by myself. I'm shamed. I'm never going to take a picture of it. I'm never going to post it on social media. But I'm going to enjoy this thing for myself, by myself. That was just one of those CAO cigars that I thought was just insanely underrated. And actually, in the time of which it came out, was one of the better CAO cigars that you could actually procure. Even though I think they did officially discontinue it. So that's my I guess one of the 6, I guess, that I came up with that I'm ashamed to admit I actually enjoyed.
Yeah.
Smoked that one a lot.
Yeah, you did.
I used to smoke that all the time.
Yeah, you had a box of it.
I hate to admit it, but I smoked one.
You bought boxes of them.
Oh, I bought a ton of them. I smoked one like probably 8 or 9 months ago.
You found one?
I found one. I found a whole bunch of them. Yeah.
At Trader Joe's?
I didn't buy them. No. Nope. You know the little place in Sharonville, Cigar House?
Yeah.
They had them there. I don't think they're there anymore.
No one was buying them.
No one was buying them. I mean, it was like a whole box full of them. And I was like, I got to do it. I got to do it. I got to go back to my roots. I got to go back to my CAO roots. All right. What's a second one from you? I'm curious on this.
This one goes to the opposite spectrum. And I was actually torn between something that I didn't have enough of, but I remember it being a pretty profound experience. But then I was like, no, that one's not going to do. It would be my runner-up, probably, this one that I'm talking about. But I'm going to skip that and go with. And I think it's probably the same for other people. In fact, I see some listed in your audience participation answers.
Yeah, I was hoping you weren't going to look at those yet.
Yeah, I did. But I already knew this one going into it, so not jaded or biased. You know,
right? Sure.
Hi, I'm Chris. I sometimes will smoke a Fuente.
Okay.
Not just any Fuente. Opus X.
So I'm curious about this answer because
even though I've bitched about the brand so much over years of saying I don't understand why people smoke Fuentes.
But we've talked about this. There's a difference between smoking Fuentes and smoking an Opus X.
Yeah.
And I do think people think Opus X is overrated.
Dude, you know what I feel like right now? I feel like that voter where all your friends are like, nah, well, probably not. You definitely act like a Democrat. No. I'm a Republican. And then I do something like smoke the Opus X, which just confirms that I'm a Democrat because it's a Democratic cigar. I think.
Right.
But it's just like admitting that you're not who you said you were. And then you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not that guy. I would never eat a girl's ass out type thing, right?
Sure.
Never do it. And then you catch me.
No booty hole play.
Then you catch me licking a booty hole. And you're like, hey, Chris. Hey, I noticed you
but
licking butthole.
What you're suggesting is that all Fuentes are created equal.
Yeah.
There's a disparity between what you would get in bottom line Fuentes and an Opus X.
But there's that tribalism where it's like,
nah, I don't subscribe to that. I don't subscribe to it because you like what you like.
It's like, oh, Chris likes Fuente. And I'm like, no, you don't get it. I just like the Opus X. That's it. Maybe Don Carlos occasionally. But only the Opus X. Like, nah, you double chateauing bitch. You Fuente fucking Reserva bitch.
You Grand Reserva motherfucker.
You know what I'm saying?
You Eye the Shark motherfucking piece of shit. Yeah, no, I get you. So you're saying like just the association of the brand. See, here's the thing. I will fight the battle of suggesting that the Opus X stands apart from the other cigars. I like Opus X. I've said this before. I didn't really used to.
Yeah.
And I think it's because at the time there was certain things that I didn't appreciate about the flavors of the cigar that I think I now more enjoy and appreciate these days.
Sure.
Also, and I've said this about the Opus X, for all you non-retrohaling pussies out there, let me fucking set this topic straight. If you're smoking the Opus X and you say and suggest that it's dull in flavors, it's because you're a non-retrohaling little bitch. Retrohale that cigar and tell me you don't get some of the best flavors you ever had, which, by the way, first ever Dominican Puro. I love Dominican tobacco. You know this.
Mm-hmm.
So when I smoke an Opus X, I literally retrohale 100% of the cigar. If you don't like them, it's because you're smoking it fucking wrong. So retrohale up, you little pussies.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say about that one.
I'm getting sweaty.
I'm not with you. It's very hot in here. Chris, I noticed.
It's the talk.
No, I noticed. So the other day, I put all this shit in here. There's a lot of electricity in this room.
Okay.
I opened the window last night because I opened the window last night because it was so hot in here, and I came in this morning after it had cooled all night, and it was still just as hot. Dude, there's so much electronics in here. I feel like my house is gonna burn down. No, it's really hot in here, so I'm with you, and the light certainly doesn't help. But I have to disagree with you in terms of that being a bad thing. Other people had stated on here, because as you'd already looked at the list, other people had said Opus X. I think the whole thing with Opus X for certain people is like, if you subscribe to this whole boutique brand type thing, you're going to be non-Opus X people. Like, if you're all about like Crown Heads, Room 101, Roma Craft, Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust, like name all these subsets of like boutique brands, you're probably not going to be a massive fan of some of the mainstream stuff. Somewhat. But to me, it's like there's no denying that it's a good cigar. Now, for the price point, do we want to get into the value? I don't think we should on this episode. For the price point, you could make an argument because they're not cheap, but they're also not that expensive either. You can buy an Opus X for like $14.
True.
Dude, it costs that much for a fucking Liga Privada No. 9. Like, you're gonna spend the same amount. And I'd argue there's times which that Opus X hits just right.
I just feel like, if someone catches you smoking Opus, says, "Oh, you're smoking an Opus. Are you also a Tesla owner?
Yeah.
Do you
like
have a $450,000 plus home.
There is a weird association with that. My whole thing is like, you fucking smoke what you like. If you have the expendable income, doesn't mean you're rich. It's just if you have the expendable income, or like, hey, you got to save a couple tokens throughout the week to fucking buy an Opus. That's what you do.
You don't have 3 401ks? Well, you shouldn't be smoking that cigar. Then you need to be smoking something lower down like that acid Cuba Cuba.
Yeah. I get why, but I don't agree with it. I'll put it that way. Here's one that I'm really highly ashamed because I hate this brand with a passion, and that's the Viaje Exclusivo leaded Maduro. So this cigar came out in 2020, and I'm not a huge Viaje fan. One, because I don't like the idea of just taking the Aganorsa scraps, blending them together, and calling it a special cigar. I think it's just so fucking stupid. Like, the whole brand is built on limited edition, and I just want to give you a big, giant fucking middle finger for that. So I'm not a huge fan of the brand as it is already. Yeah. However, the first time I smoked this cigar, I thought it was so goddamn delicious. I could not deny how good it was. I wanted to hate it and I couldn't hate it. I smoked it regardless. By the way, is everybody listening to what I'm saying? I will smoke brands that I actively don't like just to try different stuff.
Sure.
So don't be a little brand bitch.
Sure.
Fucking expand it a little bit. Even if you don't like it, give it a fucking shot. You never know what you're going to like. And I was pleasantly surprised by the cigar. I really actually enjoyed this cigar a lot. I thought it was really, really, really well done. And could it be an accident? Did Aganorsa just accidentally make something for fucking Andre that was actually really delicious? Perhaps. Maybe it was more intentional than the other ones. I don't know. But it was really fucking good. I like that cigar a lot. And there are people who like the Viaje brand.
There's a couple I like.
But then there's a lot of people that are like, yeah, the fucking douchey brand.
Yeah, I like the TNT.
Yeah, there's some cigars they come out with. Now, here's the thing about the brand as a whole, which we're not going to get into overrated, underrated. That was last episode. Check out 218. One thing that you could argue with them is the lack of consistency across the board. Like, it's just, dude, there's no consistency at all. It's just like, here's another special edition. It hits the shelves. People buy it. Not a huge hype around it, but they sell pretty quickly. They sell out pretty fast. And then you move on to the fucking next one.
I got an idea. We're going to come out with a new brand that's outside of Donger, because Donger is clearly influencing children. But we're going to come out with a cigar brand called Seasons. And each year we're going to have a spring, summer, fall, winter, and the year number. And we're just going to come out with limited releases every season.
Now, I hate that you're saying this because it's actually not a terrible idea, but you've just given this idea to someone else.
All right. Bleep everything out.
Just going to be just a... The fuck did Chris say?
We're going to call it the Four Seasons.
Dude, it's actually not a terrible idea. It's really not a terrible idea.
Every summer or every spring, it's just all candelas. It's just green. Every fall, it's Colorados. We need something reddish. Maybe a Montefita, but...
Yeah, and then Maduro and Oscuro during like the winter time.
Yeah, something. Do they have blue wrappers?
Yeah, so what you would do is like Connecticut and Candela for spring.
Brown
or probably like winter. More Candela or like a Claro, double Claro in springtime. Yeah. And then maybe Connecticut, a Habano in the summertime where things crisp up a little bit. Yeah. A Colorado in the fall time for sure. And then something, and this is all, of course, color, like dark Maduro Oscuro for winter. Yeah. That's not a terrible idea. Yeah. I should bleep this whole thing. I'm cutting all this out.
Let's start
the whole thing. If anyone steals this fucking idea, I'll fucking shank you. I will literally find you and I will fucking stab you in the neck with a shaved down toothbrush.
I can see that. I can see your cigar being one for sure.
Yeah, it's like Viaje is not like the most popular brand ever. There's a lot of people that hate the brand. There's a lot of people that like them. And there's a lot of people that just don't know. Like, they're not, I don't say they're one of the most widely popular brands, but they're pretty well known.
Yeah.
But I hate to admit that I hate to admit it more because I hate the brand.
Yeah.
I hate to admit to myself that that's a good cigar, but it is a fucking good cigar.
Do you have a runner-up?
It's really good. What do you mean?
For
Viaje?
Well, like your third.
No, I mean I do, but I'm not going to get into it. We're just going to do 2 apiece.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, because we got to get through, dude.
Oh, we got this list.
Yeah, we got this list. We're going to do
That's
2,
true.
so we're going to make this like a 2 or 3 parter. I think is probably the direction that's going to go. But we do have a list. So I solicited thoughts from the collective audience yesterday, and just wanted to give an idea. And I wanted us to kind of specifically talk around. Now, some of these are funny, and these are all kind of copied in here. But
oh my god,
Cigar Bros _ Italia said Cohiba Siglo 2, and I kind of don't disagree.
I was gonna do 3.
You're gonna do 3? Oh, yeah. Really? That was gonna be one of yours?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because and this is what they stated to me is like it's a great cigar, but think about how much you have to pay for a Siglo too. And they're absolutely correct.
It's a $40
like
cigar.
Yeah, like you hate to admit that you like a cigar that's that much money. Here's what you can't dispute: it is a tasty cigar.
It was, yeah.
However, you're spending so much money on that one cigar. It's like, then you start talking about economies of scale in terms of value and all that stuff. Does it make sense to? So I kind of get that one. And
I do too.
I think because, especially in the marketplace now, if you are a cigar aficionado or you're somebody who's a high level enthusiast in this, you understand some of the pitfalls of Cuban brands. So
it's almost like you're fascist to the United States American public. Right? You're like this outlier. Like, why don't you support American freedom? Because if we were all just to pick fucking Cubans, the cigar industry in the United States would cease to be, because it took some real fucking ingenuity from people from Honduras, Nicaragua, Dominican Republic to fucking bring you fucking good ass shit that is better, if at least the same, but if not better, to us. And here you want to fucking go back to fucking Cubans?
Yeah. Bitches.
When we fought so hard
right,
to disassociate.
Yeah. Now we're trying to fight to associate again.
Right.
See what happens. I kind of like that one.
I do too.
The next one is from Josh Huss, and he just put cigarettes. Which I find to be fucking hilarious.
Hey,
nothing like a good cig.
Nothing like a good dry aged short filler
chemical
preservatives that you inhale.
Yeah. No, I actually like that. You just said cigarettes. I'm like, that's fantastic. Dime Fan says anything General Cigars and Cohiba.
Ooh, General.
It is weird. And here's the thing. I don't know if this was a hate to love or a love to hate. I will say there are some cigars in the General brand that I obviously talked about, the CAO cigar. Is that Altadius or General? I don't know. I always get them mixed up. But there are some in those where I would probably say, yes, I could get on board with something that I hate to love. But to be so general and saying like, hey, it's just 2 brands as a whole. It's like, wow, you went the brand way, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah.
Leaf SX Cars says, and I don't know if that's how it's actually, Leafs X Cars, Leaf SX Cars, Leaf X Cars. CAO Brasilia. I don't know. It get autocorrected to Brazilian. That's not right. It's Brasilia, I think, right?
It's Brasilia.
This is an interesting one.
Yeah. Honestly, don't feel ashamed for that one. Because, listen, Cory, he was a CAO American too.
Yeah.
Or America.
I still have one of my, you can see it up there front and center.
Yeah. And
go. God bless America.
Listen, Dime or Leafs X cars.
Leafs X cars.
Leaf X scars. I am a CAO Columbia. So we're not all that different, and you're not alone. Like, Don't feel ashamed. Now, there's worse CAOs out there, and I'll say this. Pretty much any CAO made after the acquisition.
Dude, they just stuffed a fucking cigar in a gas can.
Anything after the acquisition?
An atrocity.
But
on all levels.
But the CAO Brazilian, what it stood for in the beginning when CAO was doing...
Staple. It was a foundation cigar.
Hitting major benchmarks. in places around the world.
Yeah.
Like
Arguably one of the most popular and well-known takes on a cigar campaign I've ever seen.
It made sense then. It doesn't make sense now.
Yeah.
So if you're still smoking them, you should probably stop. But
then it made sense. I agree.
But then it made sense.
Totally agree. I mean, those were the cigars to get. You got the Brasilia, the Italia, the American,
the
Colombia, the Bogota. I mean, those cigars were widely fucking popular.
Man.
Yeah, it's like travel the world via CAO. It's kind of a cool thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't hate that one. I mean, I don't hate that one. I like it. I like it. I mean, I named a CAOsa for Christ's sake.
Don't be ashamed, but then just stop smoking them, though.
Yeah, end it now. I'm skipping around here a little bit just because some of them will be associated with what we have in coming episodes. How about this one? Life and Times of Wolf, Gurkha 15-year Cellar Reserve. Now, here's the thing. It's tough to admit that you like any Gurkha, but the 15-year Cellar Reserve ain't a bad cigar.
Was that the one I had that's in
the... It's a little chunky one.
Oh.
There's the 12-year and the 15-year, and I think there's a 10-year. They have the white labels on them. They're little bit these little chunky guys.
I'm thinking of...
They're not bad.
I'm thinking of the one that came in the wax case.
No. No, different cigar. Yeah, I'm with you on this one. I think this one is tough to fucking admit because it's a Gurkha, but also if you were to say in comparison to other Gurkhas, this is actually a pretty fucking good cigar.
Yeah.
It's not a terrible cigar at all. If I were to smoke a Gurkha, it would be something in that Cellar Reserve lineup, either 10, 12, or 15.
Yeah.
Because I would argue they're pretty decent. I mean, I still wouldn't grab them on the humidor, but if someone gave me the choice of like another Gurkha and gave me a choice of that one and I had to pick something to smoke, that's what I would go with.
Yeah.
I really kind of don't hate that.
I don't hate it either.
Dave D'Amico says my ball sack, which is great. So thanks, Dave, for that. Dave is a good friend of ours, so it's not just a random person saying my ball sack, but I felt it necessary to put it on the podcast.
Have you ever tried to smoke a ball sack?
No, but one time I tried to see if I could get my head down towards my wiener.
Yeah, me too.
And I was successful. Remember when I was drumming a lot?
Yeah.
Like I was very flexible.
Yep.
Not hard at all. Also listened to Joe Rogan's podcast the other day, and he was talking about how he could 100% suck his own wiener. He was talking, there's no way. And he goes, guys, I can literally spread my legs out and put my head between my legs. He's like, of course I can suck my own wiener. And he's like, not that I've tried it, but I definitely could. Yeah.
My ball sack. Dave, I appreciate the creativity. I really do.
Yeah.
But let's just face facts. So the physics behind smoking your own ball sack is a little bit challenged.
Yeah.
One, applying any sort of flame to a ball sack, I'm assuming untrimmed, unkept, is going to give off the very
pungent aroma
that no one likes. No one likes burnt hair.
Burnt hair is the worst smell.
Especially coming from the ball sack.
Yeah.
It's not a great smell.
No, so very unpleasant.
So the aromatic coming from your cigar nuts is not pleasant at all.
No one wants that.
And how do you draw? Would you call that a super loose draw? or what?
Yeah, I don't know. But experiment, I think, is in the works. I think we're going to have to...
Suck a ball.
We're going to have to do a sack.
Maybe we can get some at the farmer's market. We can find a butcher that'll give us the nuts of a cow.
And just do a whole smoke sack?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea. Let's give it a whir.
We're going to call it smoking meats.
Now, I would say we should probably dry it out.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Give it a chance to really get all the moisture out before we could really do something like that.
We'll call it
but
smoking meats.
It's not I don't think it's a terrible idea. I want to end on this one, and this is another friend of mine. Her name's Cory. So she actually, because we were doing the what was it? The Secret Smoke last week, and we do the guesses, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then so she messaged me and said, "Well, what is it? Like, what's the answer?"
Oh.
And I was like, well, I'm not gonna fucking tell you, because if you go on YouTube and fucking guess, then you're the fucking winner. You make me look like an asshole. I'm not gonna send you cigars. You don't even fucking smoke cigars.
Sure.
But. So I told her one of the answers, which I didn't think anyone would get, unbeknownst to me. Pretty much everybody got it quickly, which is annoying, and I told her what it was. So she actually responded to the question, the poll that I put out, and she said the Room 101 farce Maduro, because it's the only one that she knew. Which is funny, because this is a cigar that you're supposed to, in the way that I labeled everything, is a cigar you hate to love. So for Matt Booth, there's a friend of mine, Cory, who is out there in the world, who really doesn't want you to know, or anyone to know, that Room 101 is a great brand, and that this cigar is something that she wants to shroud and hold to herself.
Oh,
Yeah.
love
She's a
it.
very lovely person. I worked with her for a long time. She worked for a customer of mine for years.
Oh,
Yeah. So really nice person. I appreciate the response, although it has no impact on anything we're doing because she's never even smoked a cigar in her life.
oh, interesting.
Yeah. So there you go. I think that's about all I want to go through this one. There's some really other good ones in here. So I kind of figured, I was like, there's no way we're going to get through this first one and get through all these.
Yeah.
And certainly I've got more on my list. Maybe
I
give you
do
some extra
too.
time to go on your list. Yeah. So we're going to have to obviously do part 2, maybe even a part 3 on this one. And then we'll do the inverse of it where we'll say, hey, cigars that we love to hate, which could go on literally forever.
That's true.
That one could be, audience participation can be perfect.
Yeah.
So you go. This is first time back in studio in a long time,
Yeah.
which has been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I like this a lot more than fucking Zoom. Zoom sucks dick.
Yeah.
Mostly because I'm on Zoom calls all day, but
I can touch you. You're real.
I am real. I am real. Let's end it there. Visit our show sponsor, My Cigar Pack. www.mycigarpack.com. We just got November shipment, which was awesome.
I saw my name on a bag.
Yeah, I always put your name on a bag. I always allocate your goodies.
Thank you. I don't know which mine.
There's a lot of random awesome cigars that came in. Dude, there's some Foundation cigars in there. I seen Patina in there. I seen Room 101. Dude, all kinds of fucking goodies in November. I think what Alex, the owner, did was really just kind of mix it up, do a mixed bag of stuff out for the November timeframe. There's some previous factory direct stuff in there as well. So a bunch of goodies, a smattering of random stuff that you're going to get in November pack, which is always really fun. So I really liked what we received, and visit them again, My Cigar Pack, www.mycigarpack.com. You can enter promo code HOT10 at checkout for $10 off your first pack. Again, mycigarpack.com //
my dick.
My cigar dick. hot 10 promo code to check out for $10 off your first pack. All right, let's end this, dude. I'm sweating fucking balls in here. God damn, I got my Zacatech shirt on though. I'm pretty excited.
I love it.
Love this shirt.
That's when they went to
fits my arms pretty well
Vegas?
too.
Or what was that for?
No, Zacatech's the band, remember?
Oh yeah.
Oh God, we should have ended with that song.
Oh
What was it?
fuck.
Friends forever.
Oh yeah.
Always will be friends. And then all of a sudden,
Always
Mark Paul
be
Gosselaar had like the
friends.
highest pitched voice
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? That's
Of
not
course,
your voice.
Screech was keyboardist,
Oh yeah, the fucking dorky curly haired dude that wore like the long shit.
Yeah.
Looked like he was in.
and the
oh,
girls were backup singers and bass player.
Yeah.
Lark Voorhees was bass.
Yeah. Ugh.
Of course, Slater was drums.
Yeah, had to be drums. It was so obvious. The band was so obvious. I still loved it just the same though. It was still fucking awesome. All right, let's end it there. Got things to do. This will conclude episode 219. We'll be back at you next week with episode 20. See you, everyone.